We are solving a system of equations here. I have y equals 2x squared plus 18x plus 58. It's a quadratic because the degree is 2. The biggest exponent on x is 2. And then I have a linear equation here. The biggest exponent on x is 1. So one thing that jumps out at me before I even start the problem is just sort of recognize it's good to have this kind of radar up. Is notice that every term on the first one is divisible by 2. Sometimes just looking to see if every terms are separated by plus or minus signs, everything is divisible by 2. I could pull a 2 out if I wanted to and have x squared kind of by itself. All right, let's go ahead and I'm kind of looking at this one too preemptively to see what happens to here. Okay, so to do this, we want to use what's called the equal values method. We can't combine them using elimination like we normally would if we had two lines. So we would use the equal values method. Set them both equal to the same letter. Well, this one's already equal to y. It looks like this one's not too bad to get y by itself. So we're going to set each one equal to y, then set them equal to each other. So I have 2x plus y equals 16. Minus 2x minus 2x, and I get y equals negative 2x plus 16. So this is equal to y, and this is equal to y. So if they're both equal to y, then they're equal to each other. So that now tells me that I have 2x squared plus 18x plus 58, that's the top one, equals, they're both equal to y, so they equal each other. Minus 2x plus 16. Okay, so now I'm trying to solve this. I'll go ahead and just move everything over to one side. I see some things jumping out at me, but let's move it over to one side. We want it to equal 0, so we can use the zero product property. Whenever you have x squared as your degree, you want to make sure that everything is moved over to one side. So you're trying to factor it or use the quadratic formula. Both of those need 0 on the other side. So I'll go ahead and add 2x to both sides, plus 2x minus 16 minus 16, and I get 2x squared plus 20x, and plus 58 minus 16 is 42. And our whole point here was so that we have the 0 by itself. Now, remember what I had said earlier to keep a lookout for? What do you notice here? Do you see it? Everything is an even number. That means it's divisible by 2. One of the good things about having a 0 is that it gives us some flexibility to kind of manipulate on both sides here. This is an equation. You can do that. An expression, you're kind of stuck just dealing what you have. Well, everything's even, so I'm going to divide everything by 2 to make my life easier. Divide everything by 2, and I get x squared plus 10x plus 21 equals 0. Okay? At this step, we want to look for what two numbers, and I'll go ahead and write it up here. Plus 10x plus 21 equals 0. What two numbers multiply to be the 21, add to be the 10? We're factoring at this stage. So it always looks like a binomial in this situation if it factors. I know what they are. If it didn't factor, I would have to use the quadratic formula. I know an x goes in front. Okay? Then the two numbers that multiply to be 21 positive and add to be positive 10 are 3 and 7, a positive 3 and a positive 7. So 3 times 7 is 21, 3 plus 7 is 10. Now, I want to know when this is equal to 0. So when x is negative 3, that's true. And when is this equal to 0? These aren't too bad, so that's when x is equal to negative 7. Now, this is a point, a place in space. And what we're looking for here, the solution here, is where this is a parabola, so where our parabola crosses this line somewhere. So we can have one solution, two solutions, or no solutions for this. In this case, we have our two solutions. When you have an x, you need to find out where the y is. What's the corresponding aspect to the point? It's an ordered pair, so it's missing half of it. So let's start off with x equals 3, negative 3. You want to pick which one of these is easier to kind of work with. Okay, well, I've already kind of converted it into a form that's pretty easy. A lot of times they say use the original problem. If you've done all your math correctly, then you can use any stage of it. I'm going to use this stage right here. If you're not sure about that, you can go ahead and plug it into either of these other originals and you should get the same solution. So I'm using the y equals negative 2x plus 16 on mine. Negative 3 is what's getting plugged in for x. So I now have y equals negative 2 times negative 3 plus 16. Simplifying, I get 6 plus 16 equals 22, and that's my y value. Remember, this is an ordered pair, so write your answer as an ordered pair. So that's negative 3 comma 22. There's my first answer. Let's look at the second answer. Second one was when x is equal to negative 7. And I'm going to use my equation that I simplified to. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 16. Negative 7 is going into my x. Y is equal to negative 2 times negative 7 plus 16. That's positive 14 plus 16. That's 30. Y is equal to 30. Write it as a coordinate, as an ordered pair. The x is negative 7. The y is 30. So here are my two answers. And then once again, if this were a test question, I would definitely make sure I plug these two values in for x and y into the other equation I didn't use to see if I got a true statement. I know it's a little bit of work, but during a test, that's when it matters most. Make sure you check your work on your test. On the homework, I think you have a little bit of flexibility. So I would just make sure you know what to do on your homework. Let me know if you don't. Otherwise, you can check your work only on tests for these kind.